Hello, class, and we are in week number 5. Week number 5 starting Monday, July the 10th of the course. And I just want to cover in terms of what we're going to be doing this week. First thing is the next section of your final paper and what you're going to be writing on. So with the country that you've selected to compare against the economic indicators of the United States, we are going to focus on talking about GDP, as well as principal exports and imports, and also the growth levels within your country as well as the United States. So think about real GDP. Think about GDP per capita. And I know that's some of the things that we actually covered in week number 4. How does a country measure GDP per capita, which is more individual based upon wealth structure? And then real GDP is overall. So think about the factors of production, think about outsourcing, think about trade agreements. All of that is wrapped up into figuring out the real GDP. Principal exports and imports, think about the different trade agreements that your country may have, as well as the United States and their trade agreements that they have with different countries. So how does that attribute to economic growth in terms of what's being imported compared to what's being exported in terms of products, goods, and services? And then also the growth levels in the United States. So what are growth levels? Think about your economic indicators when it comes to that. Employment rate happens to be a growth level. Also, you got to look at the interest rates connected to real estate. That happens to also be a growth level. When the real estate market begins to increase or take a surge. So think about what controls the growth level within an actual country. Also, different factors of production, as I had mentioned just a minute ago, in terms of what's produced within a country that brings revenue overall within the country. So this is going to be due, of course, your main assignments. They have been due on Sunday nights. This will be due on next Sunday night at 11:55. So let's move on here. The next thing that we're going to look at is your video review, which will also be due on Sunday night as well. And let me just scroll down here to week number 5. And so what you're going to do is you're going to talk about leading economic indicators. You're going to create a 2 to 3 minute video just like you have in the previous weeks. So the economic indicators, okay, those are a group of statistics, and they're used by economists to attempt to predict the future in terms of growth rates for our economy. So in this video, you're going to take the economist's perspective. The economists will always predict whether or not we're going to go into a recession, or whether or not inflation is going to hit, or are we going to go into a period of stagnation, or will we happen to go into the period of deflation where you begin to see prices actually begin to drop and decline. So take the view of an economist, take the perspective of an economist, and what you want to do is you want to research the key detriments that are connected to the leading economic indicators. And have a discussion. Talk about if these indicators will be the short-term future of our economy. So base this on the U.S. economy, and I think I need to rephrase and reiterate that, okay? Do not base this on the country that you're actually researching on regarding writing your final paper, and you're comparing that with the U.S. economy. So base this only on the United States economy. This is going to be due class on Sunday night at 11:55. That will be next Sunday. Which leads me to the next thing here. On Thursday nights, you know, we've had our discussion questions and activities. So we're going to have 2 discussion activities to engage in this week. And put yourself in a position here. All right, the second one here, I'm going to actually start. I'm going to talk about how the U.S. federal deficit has surpassed $26 trillion. Yes, I said $26 trillion. So what you want to do here, click on the U.S. debt clock, and what you want to do is discuss the reasons why the debt level has grown dramatically in the past 20 years, and also the ramifications for the U.S. if the debt levels continue to grow at current rates. You're going to actually suggest 3 actions that the federal government should take to curb the projected increase in debt. So think about what adds on to debt. All right, we're talking about nation debt. Okay. One of the things, okay, is how much do we invest, okay, in terms of foreign aid? That's a good example. All right, so what that could do is that could increase actually a foreign deficit, which could really add on, okay, to our overall debt. So that's just an example that I happen to give with that. So think about this, and just think about how the debt level has grown dramatically. Why has it grown dramatically? Okay, it could be inflation could have a lot to do with this. Okay, look at it more from as well, maybe an individual perspective. You can apply some microeconomics to this. Look at the credit card debt that a consumer, okay, could actually accumulate. All right, and that brings on debt. So what I'm saying here is that I want you to look at a culmination of macro and micro perspectives and tie them in together regarding engaging in this discussion post. Which leads to my next discussion activity. And I'm not saying that this is rather outdated, but however, you know that we are post-pandemic. About 3 years ago, we did experience COVID-19. So here's a scenario with this one. Okay, the past decade, the economy here in the United States has endured an unusually steep recession. So followed by a long period of recovery, followed by several years of economic expansion. Okay, the current decade has started in, and as we know, this has actually occurred, going back to 2020, COVID-related chaos and return to recessionary times. So economists have favored the use of fiscal as well as monetary policy to speed up or slow down the economic activity. And the U.S. has identified the current state of the U.S. economy relative to employment, inflation, and interest rates. So pretty much discuss how you would use 3 primary tools. That's the reserve requirements, the federal funds rate, as well as the open market operations to improve the U.S. economy. That's if you happen to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve. So take all these factors into consideration, and this is going to be due on next Thursday along with your other discussion posts. Now remember everyone, your initial responses are due on Thursday night. Respond to at least 2 of your peers by Saturday night. And also I want to bring to everybody's attention that there will be a week 5 quiz. It has not opened yet, but one of the things that I'm going to make sure is that coming into Monday is that the quiz is able to be viewed by everyone. I don't know what happened with the past 2 weeks with the actual settings. I did make those quizzes available at the beginning of the week so that you can have access to it throughout the course of the week. But we do have another quiz that will be due by next Friday. That will be the week 5 quiz. Now remember, class, one of the things that I did was that with the week 3 quiz, I extended the due date on the week 3 quiz to be due. So your week 3 quiz will actually be due, that's Friday, July the 7th, which if you happen to be viewing this video, you will see that The week 3 quiz is actually due by tonight. That is Friday. And the week 4 quiz, I'm giving everyone until tomorrow night. That will be Saturday night, July the 8th, to complete that. Keep in mind, everybody, as I wrap this brief discussion up, is regarding due dates. If you're behind on any coursework, on any assignments, it is imperative that you reach out to me. Is there going to be a free week coming up within this course where you'll be able to make up work? Absolutely, it will be a free week. And that week happens to be coming up in week number 7, with week 8 being the final week of this course. And what you're going to do in week 8 is you're going to submit your final assignments. You'll submit your final paper completed and connected all together, as well as a presentation that reflects on the final paper that you wrote. That's going to be in week number 8, but week number 7 will be the free week. Again, if you've fallen behind, reach out to me. My availability hours, I try to make myself available to be reached by phone from 5 to 8. That is Monday through Saturday. Or send me an email. Okay, so there are different forms and different methods of communication that you can use to get in contact with me. Okay, everyone. That actually concludes this discussion as we officially go into week number 5 that will be coming up on this Monday, July the 10th. Blessings to everyone and have a great weekend.